So let's see, what is biodiversity? So biodiversity basically refers to the number and types of organism present on earth. So basically biodiversity किस चीज को बोलते हैं हम लोग? बायोडाइवर्सिटी इज द नंबर एंड द टाइप्स ऑफ ऑर्गेनिज्म, यानी कि कितनी क्वांटिटी है और कितने टाइप्स ऑफ ऑर्गेनिजम्स जो है वो इस प्लैनेट पे प्रेजेंट है. So basically, the number of species that are known and described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. That means like 1.7 to 1.8 million species जो Earth पे present है, and they are being named. Those species have been given a name. Those species have been described uh, in various datas and various. There are various books, various files, facts, figures. So 1.7 to 1.8 million species have been described on Earth. So okay, so there are still other species which are being named and which are being so now maximum diversity, basically what you're saying is these 1.7 and 1.8 million species have been described, have been identified. So amongst these all, maximum diversity are found in basically in tropical rainforest. Majority of the species, plants, small plants, large trees, whatever you are seeing, maximum of them are being found in tropical rainforest. And apart from tropical rainforest, second maximum diversity is found in coral reefs. So this was biodiversity, which is among us in number, and there are various types of organism present everywhere. Now there are few terms in botany. Now systematics. So what is basically systematics? In whole botany, you'll see there are various terms which are very important, like systematics, identification, nomenclature, classification, and taxonomy. So these are the terms. First we'll understand about these terms, what these terms are, then we'll continue with the taxonomy. So what is systematics? So systematics is the study of different kind of organisms, their diversity and relationship among them. So basically systematics is like study, उनके बारे में पढ़ाई करना, different kind of organisms के बारे में study करना, knowing about the diversities, यानी कि एक particular species के अंदर कितने divergence है, knowing about them, and relationship among them means a relationship between a plant or the other plants. What are the relationship between those? Like if there are suppose there is an area, and then there are 10 12 species present. So systematic says that we have to study about those 10 different organisms, their diversities. Means कि when the newer generation will come, तो उसमें क्या होगा कि when the newer generation will come, तो उसके अंदर differences होंगी. Some will be different from the other, in maybe in a small aspect, but it will be different. So systematic says that only, that it is the study of different kind of organisms, their diversities and relationship among those. So the word systematics is derived from Latin word systema, which means systematic arrangement of organism. So basically, in botany or in zoology or in biology, you can say every organism, every organism or every single species is arranged in a manner. There is a pattern, there is a way to arrange to keep that species. Means there is a systematic set of rules ki we'll put this species in this particular group, this species belong to particular gene, this species belong to this particular family. So it takes a lot of years to study about those species, उन पे बहुत सारे research करते हैं, फिर जा करके उस species को एक name देते हैं, एक identification देते हैं, उसकी category decide करते हैं. We'll decide their category, what will be their category, what will be their family, what will be their genus. So I'll tell you the criterias and the categories for that in the next classes. So basically, the word systematics is derived from Latin word systema. We have seen that every word uh, in our books are basically derived from Latin or a Greek word or a Roman word only. So here also, now Linnaeus used Systema Nature as the title of his publication. So we all know that Carlos Linnaeus was the person behind majority of the biology things, especially in botany. So he gave a book about Systema Nature. He gave it a name. He did a publication, basically a book he published. It was named as Systema Nature, and we seen the word systema means the arrangement of organisms. So basically, he gave a book Systema Nature. That means in that book there are the arrangement of organisms which are present in this nature. So here's a picture, file photo of Carlos Linnaeus, as you can see. Now systematic takes into account evolutionary relationship between organism. Now systematics में क्या होती है कि evolution के बाद एक बाकी जितने भी organisms जो भी present है सराउंडिंग्स में, उनके अंदर जितनी भी उनकी आपस में जो evolutionary relationship हो रही है उसके बारे में है. Systematics basically takes an account into evolutionary relationship between organism. Now there is a term known as Neosystematics. Earlier it was systematics everywhere. Now Neosystematic is a newer concept. Now what Neosystematic is? Neosystematic is a concept of systematics which bring out taxonomic affinity on the basis of evolutionary, genetic and morphological features. So earlier what we have seen that in systematics basically different kind of organisms, their diversity and relationship among them is being described. Now in neo-systematic what happens ki neotech systematics brings about the taxonomic affinity, and what are the basis of neo-systematic is the evolutionary, genetic and morphological features. Evolutionary means how much that species have evolved, like what was their first generation, and then to the 10th generation to 15th generation, what are the evolutions that come from that generation. Like as you can see, we animals, take example of us human beings. We have if you see the life cycle of a human being, like evolution of human being, where human beings used to walk on floors, now we are walking on tubes. So this evolution has come. So that for this in newer concept in which we study about the evolutionary, then genetic. What एक species genetic body में genes क्या present है, फिर उसका जो newer generation है, the newer generation के what are the genetic properties of that newer generation, what are the properties of the next generation. So, एक particular species की gene study, उनकी evolutionary और features features हो गए that outside feature species that. Now, this concept was developed by Julian Huxley in 1940. So you could see this systematic some 1700 was erratic nature. The publication was done by Carlos Linnaeus. Now see the new systematics came in 200 years later. This newer systematic version was established. Now, taxonomy. Taxonomy is a very important word everywhere heard. Even the basis of this whole species is done taxonomy. The term taxonomy was first introduced by APD Candolle. Just remember this name. This name is quite important. The taxonomy was introduced by APD. Now, characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature as a process that basic to taxonomy. So, what we do in taxonomy is so accessing the arrangement and noticing law. So, basically, arrangement that is basically known as taxonomy. And APD Candolle was the first person to give the word. So he introduced to us the word taxonomy. So he gave the basic rules, basic laws to species. A book which is known as Theories Elementare Via Botanic. So basically, he basically the theory of elementary botany. But who do like honors elementary botany. So basically, in that he wrote the laws and the of the body basically. So taxonomy. Taxonomy is the categorization and the factors of that identification. Study about the character of the species, then we identify that species, then we classify that species. So characterization is knowing the properties, features of that species, in which family, in which group, species, in which category that we classify that species a particular name. Definitely, we see these four things how to nomenclature. So, four what are these? These are identification, classification, and nomenclature. Now, there are two taxonomy. One is taxonomy, the other one is the chemotaxonomy. Yes, Deepika, you want to say something? Guys, am I audible now? Or is my voice still breaking? Can anybody just let me know? Anybody? Deepika, Pratibha? Anybody just do a hand raise and let me know? Yeah, Prasanna. Is it audible now? Deepika, Prasanna, Pratibha, anybody is there? Just let me know. Okay, fine. So, okay, so Prasanna, till where you people have heard?
Hello.
Yeah, Prasanna, till where you people have heard? Where there's something which I should repeat, or should I continue further?
Ma'am, your voice is not clear now also.
Now also it's not clear.
Yes, ma'am. It's breaking.
Still it's breaking. Fine, guys. Just let me know in the chat section is anything that I should repeat or I should continue further. Okay, fine. Let's continue. So basically, where were we? Where the term taxonomy was first introduced by APD Candole. So basically, APD Candole gave a book. He wrote a book that was known as Theories Elementare della Botanicae. So basically, this book was all about theory of elementary botany. He wrote a book about theory of elementary botany. Now, the term taxonomy is based on the four terminologies. These are characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature. So basically, what uh, in taxonomy, what we first do is characterize a particular species. Basically, we know about the characteristics of that species. Then further, we go for the identification. We identify that species, that uh, what kind of species it is, and then we classify that species. We classify it like in what genus it belongs, in what family it belongs, what kind of species it is. So we classify that on certain bases, on certain laws that has been set. And then nomenclature, we gave those species a particular name. We do the naming of those species. So basically these four are the processes that are basic to taxonomy. Now there are two types of taxonomy: cytotaxonomy and chemotaxonomy. So what is cytotaxonomy? Cytotaxonomy is the use of cytological characters of plants to in classification or in solving taxonomic problem is called cytotaxonomy. So basically जो भी साइटोलॉजिकल कैरेक्टर्स होते हैं उनके बेसिस पे जो भी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स प्लांट्स की स्टडी करते हैं हम लोग, और फिर उस कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स पे मतलब उसके साइटोलॉजिकल फीचर्स के बेसिस पे उस प्लांट्स को जब हम लोग क्लासिफाई करते हैं या नेमिंग करते हैं, तो वो साइटोटेक्सोनॉमी होती है बेसिकली। तो साइटोलॉजिकल कैरेक्टर्स क्या हो गए, उस स्पीशीज का क्रोमोसोमल नंबर क्या है, उस स्पीशीज का स्ट्रक्चर क्या है, उस पर्टिकुलर स्पीशीज का बिहेवियर क्या है, etc etc. So these are the cytological characters or cytological features of a species. What can be the cytological features? Cytological feature means chromosome number, chromosome structure, their behavior. These all things are the cytological features. So what is cytotaxonomy is based on cytological information of that species. Now the second type of taxonomy is chemotaxonomy. What is chemotaxonomy? So basically chemotaxonomy is based on chemical constituents of a plant. So chemical constituents of the plants means that the basic chemical compounds जो भी कीमोटेक्सोनॉमी में यूज होते हैं, these basic chemical compounds are alkaloids, carotenoids, tannins, polysaccharides, nucleic acid, fatty acid, anything, amino acids, anything. So इन एसिड्स के बेसिस पे, इन केमिकल कंस्टिट्यूएंट्स के बेसिस पे जो क्लासिफिकेशन करेंगे या उस प्लांट का नेम सॉल्व करेंगे या उस प्लांट्स को नेमिंग करेंगे या उसकी क्लासिफिकेशन करेंगे, तो अगर इन बेसिस पे करते हैं तो दैट इज नोन एज बेसिकली कीमोटेक्सोनॉमी. सो नाउ ओके, so now moving on further, taxonomy, I told you like four basic characters of taxonomy were there. Those were the characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature. So one by one, we'll see what are these four characteristics. Okay. So let's start with the characterization. Characterization means it is based on the understanding of characters of organisms, like external and internal structure means the morphology and anatomy. Your external structure is morphology, known as morphology, and your internal structure is known as anatomy. Now the structure of the cell, cytology, I tell you how are the structure of cell present, whether it is unicellular, multicellular, or which cells are present. Then developmental processes, that means ki how that particular species have developed, basically embryology. And economical informations called ecology of organisms. So, characterization is based on understanding of characters of organisms. And what are these characters that we understand are the external internal features, means the morphology and anatomy of the species, the cytology of the species, the embryology of the species, and the ecology of the organism. सो क्या करते हैं हम लोग कि पहले किसी भी स्पीशीज को क्लासिफाई करने के लिए, आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए हम लोग पहले उसकी मॉर्फोलॉजी, एनाटमी देखते हैं, उसकी सेल स्ट्रक्चर्स देखते हैं, उसका डेवलपमेंट कैसे हुआ है, उसका इकोलॉजिकल इंफॉर्मेशन लेते हैं उस ऑर्गेनिज्म का. इन सारे बेसिस पे, इन सारे किसी एक के बेसिस पे कैरेक्टराइज नहीं करते हैं उस स्पीशीज को, इन सारे चीजों की स्टडी करते हैं, फिर उसका कैरेक्टराइजेशन करते हैं. ये नहीं कि सिर्फ एक्सटर्नल फीचर देखा, प्लांट कैसा दिख रहा है, ओके फाइन दिस प्लांट इज लाइक दिस और हमने उसको कैरेक्टराइज कर दिया. नहीं, वैसे नहीं करते. उसका इकोलॉजिकल इंफॉर्मेशन देखते हैं, उसकी साइटोलॉजी देखते हैं, उसका मॉर्फोलॉजी देखते हैं, एनाटमी भी देखते हैं, तब जाकर के उसको क्लासिफाई करते हैं. नाउ द सेकेंड वन इज आइडेंटिफिकेशन. नाउ व्हाट इज आइडेंटिफिकेशन? Identification, it is the correct description of organism Now, identification is the correct description of organism to determine the exact place or position in taxonomic arrangement. That means, now पहले सबसे पहले हमने कैरेक्टराइजेशन कर ली उसकी. दैट मीन्स कि हमने देख लिया कि उसकी मॉर्फोलॉजी क्या है, उसकी एनाटॉमी क्या है, उसकी सेल स्ट्रक्चर कैसी है, उसका डेवलपमेंटल प्रोसेस कैसा था. ये सारी चीजें हमने देख ली. अब बारी आई स्पीशीज को आइडेंटिफाई करने की कि ये कौन सी स्पीशीज है. तो उसके लिए आइडेंटिफिकेशन क्या कहता है कि आइडेंटिफिकेशन इज द करेक्ट डिस्क्रिप्शन. तो हर एक स्पीशीज को वी नीड अ डिस्क्रिप्शन. वो डिस्क्रिप्शन करेक्ट होनी चाहिए एक ऑर्गेनिज्म की, ताकि हम लोग डिटरमाइन कर सके कि टैक्सोनॉमिकली जो अरेंजमेंट हम कर रहे हैं उस पर्टिकुलर टैक्सोनॉमिक अरेंजमेंट में वो पर्टिकुलर स्पीशीज की करेक्ट प्लेस पोजीशन क्या होगी. सो एज वी नो कि हर एक टैक्सोनॉमी की एक सेट ऑफ क्राइटेरिया है, एक सेट ऑफ देयर आर अ सेट ऑफ रूल्स, देयर आर सेट ऑफ क्राइटेरियाज फॉर डूइंग द टैक्सोनॉमिकल अरेंजमेंट्स. वो रूल्स, वो लॉज 100 of years, 200, 300, 400 years से चले आ रहे हैं. वो रूल्स सेम रूल्स है. हर पर्टिकुलर स्पीशीज को किस पर्टिकुलर जगह पे रखनी है, उसकी प्लेस क्या होगी, पोजीशन क्या होगी. तो कैरेक्टराइजेशन हमने कर लिया, फिर आइडेंटिफिकेशन किया कि उसको करेक्टली डिस्क्राइब किया सो दैट कि उसकी प्लेस और पोजीशन डिटरमाइन हो सके. नाउ फर्दरमोर व्हाट वी विल डू, अब बारी आई उसके क्लासिफिकेशन की. पहले हमने उसके कैरेक्टर्स देख लिए, उसको आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया. अब इट्स टाइम टू क्लासिफाई देम. So, what is classification? Classification is the placing of an organism or a group of organism into convenient categories based on easily observable characteristics. अब उस स्पीशीज के बारे में सारी स्टडी करने के बारे में, उसको आइडेंटिफाई करने के बाद व्हाट वी विल डू कि वी विल कैटेगराइज देम. यानी कि हम लोग उसको क्लासिफाई करेंगे उसके कन्वीनियंट, यानी कि उसके फीचर्स जिस कैटेगरी से बिलोंग कर रहे होंगे, जिस कैटेगरी के फीचर्स के साथ मैच कर रहे होंगे, उस पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप में उस स्पीशीज को हम लोग डाल देंगे, उस पर्टिकुलर क्राइटेरिया के, उस पर्टिकुलर बेसिस कैटेगरी में उसको क्लासिफाई करेंगे हम लोग. नाउ द लास्ट थिंग कम्स इज द नॉमेनक्लेचर. नाउ व्हाट इज लाइक कि अभी हमने उसको क्लासिफाई भी कर दिया, अभी वी डिड एवरीथिंग. नाउ इट्स टाइम टू क्लासिफाई, नॉमेनक्लेचर देम, टू गिव देम अ नेम. So what is nomenclature? The naming of living organisms such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world is called nomenclature. So every particular species, every organism is being given a unique name. By that name, that species can be known all over the world. एक पर्टिकुलर नेम होता है, हर एक स्पीशीज को एक पर्टिकुलर नेम देंगे, जो पर्टिकुलर नेम पूरे वर्ल्ड वाइड उस एक पर्टिकुलर नेम से ही उस स्पीशीज को बुलाया जाएगा. यू नो, वी अस ह्यूमन बीइंग्स आर आल्सो बीइंग गिवन अ नेम, सो द सेम वे, so that everybody can call us by that name. Okay, that person is being called if that name comes. So हर एक स्पीशीज के साथ सेम चीज है. हर एक स्पीशीज को एक कॉमन सा नेम, एक नेम दिया गया है, जो कि नेम वर्ल्ड वाइड वही नेम यूज होगा. नाउ द नेम्स आर ऑफ टू टाइप्स. दो टाइप के नेम होते हैं. एक वर्नाकुलर नेम होता है और एक साइंटिफिक नेम होता है. किसी भी स्पीशीज का, किसी भी प्लांट का, किसी भी ऑर्गेनिज्म का दो नाम होता है, वर्नाकुलर नेम और एक उसका साइंटिफिक नेम होता है. वर्नाकुलर नेम वो हो गया जो कि कॉमन नेम है, जो ऐसे हम लोग जस्ट टू बोलचाल की भाषा में यूज कर सकते हैं, जो हम लोग जस्ट टू एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेट में या एक पर्टिकुलर कंट्री में वो नेम्स यूज होते हैं. और एक होती है साइंटिफिक नेम होती है, जो कि एक ही नेम होगी जो वर्ल्ड वाइड उसी नाम से उस पर्टिकुलर स्पीशीज को बुलाया जाएगा. सो इट्स अबाउट दैट. नाउ कमिंग ऑन टू the scientific name. So these are the names given to the organism by biologists based on universally accepted principle and criteria. So of course जो scientific names होते हैं किसी भी species का, किसी भी organism का, वो scientist देते हैं. वो साइंटिस्ट उस स्पीशीज को वो नेम सारे क्राइटेरिया, जो भी लॉज हैं, जो भी प्रोटोकॉल्स हैं टू do the nomenclature, उस nomenclature में वो फिट बैठ करके उस नोमेनक्लेचर के उस क्राइटेरिया को फॉलो करते हुए हर बायोलॉजिस्ट जो होते हैं वो हर एक स्पीशीज को एक नेम देते हैं जो यूनिवर्सली एक्सेप्टेबल होता है, जो यूनिवर्सली एक्सेप्टेड जितने भी प्रिंसिपल्स प्रेजेंट है, जो भी क्राइटेरिया है, उसको फॉलो करते हुए एक नेम देते हैं. Now, the scientific names ensure that each organism has only one name. अब जो बायोलॉजिस्ट होते हैं, जो साइंटिफिक नेम होते हैं देते हैं, वो बिल्कुल ये इंश्योर करते हैं कि हर एक स्पीशीज को एक पर्टिकुलर नेम दिया जाए और उस स्पीशीज का एक ही नाम हो. यानी कि जो साइंटिफिक नेम होती है हर स्पीशीज की वो एक ही होगी और वो यूनिक होगी. यानी कि अगर एक स्पीशीज को एक नाम दे दिया तो वो नाम सेम नेम दूसरे स्पीशीज का नहीं होता है. Now, description of any organism should enable the people in any part of the world to arrive at the same name. यानी कि ऐसे डिस्क्राइब करना है कि उसको उसका जो एक ही नाम पे पूरे वर्ल्ड वाइड जितने भी पीपल हैं वो किसी भी, चाहे वो देश के किसी भी कोने में प्रेजेंट हो, वो उस नाम को ही एक्सेप्ट करे. यस दीपिका, is there any problem Deepika? You did a hand raise. Do you have any question to ask? Yeah, which point you want me to repeat? You want me to repeat any point? Okay, at last, you people just let me know which point you people want me to repeat. I'll repeat it. Let me just continue with the class. Is it okay? Okay, fine. No issues, Deepika. Okay, so where were we? We were at the scientific names. So the scientific names ensure that each organism has only one name. Description of any organism should enable the people in any part of the world to arrive at the same name. Now, to accomplish this, certain international codes have been established. तो अभी क्या है, नॉमेनक्लेचर करने के लिए हमने देखा कि एक ही नाम देना. नाउ इट इज अ टफ टास्क. To give every particular species a particular name is a tough task in itself, because there are 1.7 or 1.8 millions of species. So is it is very difficult to identify and to give them every species a unique name, and that too that should be accepted worldwide following the criteria. To accomplish this nomenclature, to accomplish this, certain international codes have been established. So these codes are basically ICBN and ICZN. So there are a community of people that sit together. There's a community of scientists that do this, because this is a very big task and very tough task. So there are two codes, ICBN and ICZN. So ICBN is your international code for botanical nomenclature, and ICZN is international code for geological nomenclature. So what does ICBN does? So basically ICBN is collection of rules regarding scientific nomenclature of plants. यानी कि ICBN इस कम्युनिटी जिनका काम ही ये होता है, तो ICBN क्या है, कलेक्शन ऑफ रूल्स है जो भी Okay, so we were here at the ICBN and ICZN. ICBN is the International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, and ICZN is the International Code for Geological Nomenclature. So basically, these set of rules, these set of codes which were established, was first accepted in 1961. Okay, so moving on for the binomial nomenclature. So what is binomial nomenclature? Binomial nomenclature was proposed by Carlos Linnaeus. Again, in everywhere, everything, majority of the things are being done by Carlos Linnaeus only. So bionomical nomenclature was proposed by Carlos Linnaeus. He proposed scientific naming of plants in his book Species Plantrum. So earlier we seen one book we studied about, the one that earlier he gave a book Systema Naturae. Then again Carlos Linnaeus proposed a book which was known as Species Plantrum. So this was the book in which he proposed scientific naming of plants. Now, the system of providing a name with two components is called binomial nomenclature. That means, binomial nomenclature, what we do is we provide species with a two name, means with a one name, but it has two components. What are these components? These components are the genus and the species. So here, when we give species a name, it includes two names. It has two components. One name present is there the species name, and the other name present there is the genus name. So here you can see this is a picture of Species Plantrum. It was first published on 1st of May 1753 by Carlos Linnaeus. The first edition of this book was published on 1st of May 1753, and then again the second publication was done somewhere in 1770s. Yeah, 1770s, somewhere in 1774 or something like that. And then after the death of Carlos Linnaeus, uh, again in 80s and 90s, it was republished. This book keeps on republishing, but the first edition and the original edition was given by Carlos Linnaeus, and it was published on 1st of May 1753. Moving on, binomial nomenclature. So in binomial nomenclature, each scientific name has two components. So in binomial nomenclature, each scientific name has two names, as I told you. One of them is generic name, genus, and the second name is the specific name, that means species. So what is generic name and what is species name? So generic name is the genus name. So everybody belongs to a particular genus. Like what is the genus of a particular species? So ये बेसिकली जीन्स के बेसिस पे डिसाइड करते हैं हम लोग कि सेम जीन्स वाले लोग हैं तो इनका एक सेम जेनरिक नेम होगा, एक ही ये स्पीशीज एक सेम जीनस को बिलोंग करते हैं. बट व्हाट इज द स्पीशीज नेम इज अ स्पेसिफिक नेम, यानी कि एक जीनस में 5-6 स्पीशीज हो सकते हैं, बट जो स्पीशीज होता है, जो स्पीशीज नेम होता है वो उसका स्पेसिफिक नेम होता है. Now, for example, here you could see Magnifera indica linen. So here Mangifera is the genus name and indica represents the species name, and linen indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. So linen basically last May we wrote that linen, okay, linen indicates that this species was first. So basically इस particular species को Linnaeus ने सबसे पहले डिस्क्राइब किया था, इसीलिए लिनन का नाम ऐड कर देते हैं. वैसे ही हर स्पीशीज के स्पीशीज नेम के बाद एक एब्रिविएशन ऐड करते हैं जो कि उस पर्टिकुलर साइंटिस्ट की होती है जिसने उस स्पीशीज को सबसे पहले डिस्क्राइब किया था. ना यहाँ मैंजीफेरा जो है, मैंजीफेरा हमारा जीनस नेम है. इस मैंजीफेरा के जीनस नेम में कुछ और भी स्पीशीज आते हैं, लेकिन जो हमारा स्पीशीज नेम है यानी कि इंडिका है वो एक स्पेसिफिक नेम होता है, वो एक पर्टिकुलर स्पीशीज को ही बिलोंग करता है. नाउ देयर आर सर्टेन यूनिवर्सल रूल्स for doing this nomenclature. So what are these universal rules for nomenclature? So basically there are few universal rules that are being set, जिनको बिल्कुल माइंड में रखते हुए हम लोग स्पीशीज का नाम डिस्क्राइब करते हैं, एक स्पीशीज को नेम देते हैं. सो द फर्स्ट रूल इज द बायोलॉजिकल नेम्स आर जनरली इन लैटिन एंड रिटन इन इटैलिक्स. बेसिकली जो बायोलॉजिकल नेम देते हैं वो लैटिन में देते हैं, यानी कि जो वर्ड होता है वो लैटिन होता है, बट उसको लिखते हैं तो वो इटैलिक्स में लिखते हैं. मीन्स कि अभी यहाँ पे नॉर्मल, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस फॉन्ट इट अपीयर्स नॉर्मल, बट व्हेन यू विल राइट इट डाउन इट इज written in the italics. The font is italics, and they are Latinized or derived from Latin irrespective of their origin. Doesn't matter कि उसकी origin, उस particular species की origin कहाँ हुई थी, वो कौन सी कंट्री के किस पर्टिकुलर, कौन सी कंट्री के किस कोने में हुआ था, डजेंट मैटर. उसको जो नेमिंग करेंगे हम लोग, उसको जो नाम दी जाएगी वो लैटिन नेम ही होगा. Earlier I have given you the example of Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica वो बिल्कुल कहीं से भी इंग्लिश या ऐसा कुछ साउंड नहीं करता. इट इज अ लैटिन नेम. सो द फर्स्ट रूल इज दैट कि जो नेमिंग करते हैं वो लैटिन नेम देते हैं, उसको लैटिन नेम देते हैं, उस और लैटिन ओरिजिन का ही, डजेंट मैटर उनकी ओरिजिन क्या है, बट उसको लिखते इटैलिक्स में हम लोग. फॉन्ट जो होगी वो इटैलिक्स होगी. Now, the rule two is the first word in a biological name represents the genus, while the second component denotes the specific epithet. एज आई टोल्ड यू, दो नाम देंगे, कभी ऐसे उल्टा नहीं कर सकते कि ठीक है स्पीशीज का नाम पहले लिख दिया हमने और जीनस का नाम बाद में लिखा. नो, वी कैन नॉट डू दैट. हमें whenever we'll name a particular species, always genus name will come first and then the species name, followed by the species name. So the genus name is sorry guys, so the genus name represents the genes, the generic name, and then followed by the specific name. So this is the second rule. Now the third rule is both the words in a biological name when handwritten are separately underlined or printed in italics to indicate their Latin origin. अभी लैटिन नेम तो दिया है बट उसको इंडिकेट भी करना है, तो अगर हैंड रिटन लिखते हैं तो दोनों नाम ऐसा नहीं है कि कंबाइन करके लिख देंगे, यानी कि मैग्निफेरा और इंडिका के बीच में स्पेस होनी चाहिए. दूसरी बात, अगर हाथ से लिख रहे हैं उसको, वो हैंड रिटन है तो वो अंडरलाइंड होना चाहिए, या फिर अगर पेपर पे प्रिंट कर रहे हैं तो टेक्स्ट में प्रिंट होना चाहिए. ना कि वो है और उसको अगर offended है तो क्या क्या होता है, ये क्यों करते हैं हम लोग, जस्ट टू शो you people. Right now I'm audible or not? Okay, so sorry, there was a network error or network issue with me. I think now I should be audible to you people. Arey. Okay, anybody, Deepika or Prasanna, just let me know in the chat section that am I audible to you people or not. Actually, there was a issue with my network connection. Anybody of you there, then just let me know. Okay, fine. Thank you, Deepika. Okay, so let's just, I'm so sorry. There was a network issue. There was a network error with my connection. So, okay. Uh, till now we have seen the three basic set of rules. Now the fourth one is the first word denoting the genus starts with a capital letter, while the specific epithet starts with a small letter. So the genus the genus name will always start with the capital letter, and the species name will always start with a small letter. It can be now you will see your example as we have seen the example Mangifera indica. So here you can see the Mangifera is starting with a capital letter and indica is the species name, as I told you earlier. So indica is starting with a small letter. So this was the fourth rule. Now the fifth rule is the name of the author is written in an abbreviated form after the species epithet. So the abbreviated form is the abbreviation. ठीक है? So what the author name is always written in an abbreviation form, not the full name, as you have seen in this example. Here I have shown you Mangifera indica linen. So here Mangifera is the genus name. It is starting with the capital M. Then indica, it is the species name starting with the small I, and then here it is Lin. So Pallas Linus was the author who describe the species. But here we haven't taken the whole name. Here we have taken the abbreviation name, that is LINN, that is Lin. So this is the rule. To do that, so the fifth rule says the name of the author should be written in abbreviated form after the species epithet at the end of the biological name as printed in Roman. So Mangifera indica italics. So as you can see, Indica was written in italics, but the author name है Linen, वो Roman में print होता है, वो Arabic में print नहीं करते लोग. Something the last advantage now is advantages, but सो ये जो थे, जो अभी हमने पढ़ा, वो सारे सेट ऑफ रूल्स थे बाइनोमियल नोमेनक्लेचर की. अभी हम लोग देखेंगे व्हाट आर द एडवांटेजेस ऑफ बाइनोमियल नोमेनक्लेचर. सो 3 एडवांटेजेस है. पहला एडवांटेज है द बायोलॉजिकल नेम्स आर स्मॉल. द बायोलॉजिकल नेम्स आर सेम ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड. पहली एडवांटेज ये है कि पूरे वर्ल्ड वाइड एक सेम नेम होता है, एक सेम नेम एक्सेप्टेबल है. सेकेंड वन इज दे आर डेफिनेट एंड एक्सेप्टेड यूनिवर्सली. वो एक डेफिनेट है, उसमें कोई चेंजेस, एक बार अगर किसी स्पीशीज को नाम मिल गया, वो डेफिनेट है, वो कभी नाम चेंज नहीं होगा. और वो यूनिवर्सली एक्सेप्टेड होता है, यानी कि वो वर्ल्ड वाइड एक्सेप्टेड होता है. और तीसरी चीज है ऑल न्यूली डिस्कवर्ड प्लांट्स एंड एनिमल्स कैन बी नेम्ड, क्लासिफाइड एंड डिस्क्राइब्ड इजली. यानी कि एक सेट ऑफ रूल्स बन गई है. उसकी बेसिस पे क्या होगा कि जितने भी न्यूली डिस्कवर्ड, नई नई जो डिस्कवरी होगी, नई प्लांट्स और एनिमल्स हमें मिलेंगे, उनको नेमिंग करना, उनको क्लासिफाई करना और उनको डिस्क्राइब करना बहुत इजी हो गया है बाइनोमियल नोमेनक्लेचर की वजह से. सो दिस वाज ऑल अबाउट टुडे टैक्सोनॉमी एंड नोमेनक्लेचर. कल की क्लास में हम लोग स्पीशीज, फैमिली और टैक्सोनॉमिकल हियाची पढ़ेंगे. सो दैट वाज all for today's class, people. Now anybody if has any doubt, just let me know. Okay, Deepika, Pratibha, Prasanna, anybody any doubt about today's class? So we are having a 2 minutes doubt session. Anything which was not audible to you, any point which was not clear to you, so just let me know. You can do a hand raise or you can just drop a message in the chat section. Deepika, Pratibha, Prasanna, anybody, any doubt, to just do a hand raise. Prasanna, you have a issue of language. So just let me know any point anywhere I went in Hindi and you didn't heard it, or you it was not understandable to you. So just do a hand raise or just drop a message in the chat section. Quick, guys. You have your other physics class also. So just let me know quickly. Anybody, any doubt about any topic or anything which was not audible to you people? Okay, Deepika, it was all clear. Prasanna, you were having a language issue, na? So just let me know any point which was not clear to you, which I went in Hindi and was not clear to you. Anything? Okay, fine, Prasanna. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, that was all about today class. Abhi kal ki class mein what we'll study, we'll see the categories. What is kingdom? What is phylum? What is species? What is genus? वो सारी चीजें देखेंगे हम लोग. And what are the taxonomical hierarchy, वो करेंगे हम लोग कल की क्लास में. Okay, thank you so much for joining. Now end the live, we'll end this class.